Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It's the sequel to 2017's The Hitman's Bodyguard, and once again stars Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Salma Hayek. Antonio Banderas joins the cast along with Morgan Freeman. Talk about him, probably. The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard sees Ryan Reynolds' character, Michael Bryce, on sabbatical, where he can't use any weapons or be anybody's bodyguard. He can't kill anybody either, but Sonia and Darius Kincaid come running back into his life, and now he finds himself messed up in their affairs, as well as an international conspiracy involving Interpol. Now, I'm going to be quite frank with you. I did enjoy the first movie. I thought it was mindless entertainment, and sometimes that's all you need. It's a good turn-your-brain-off type of action comedy, and I thought that the banter between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson was actually really good in that movie. So I was really hoping for more of the same with this movie, and I am quite pleased to say that I did really actually enjoy The Hitman's... No, this was fucking terrible. This was a bad movie. I don't think it's as bad as critics say it is, but I'm like that close to saying it's as bad as critics say it is. This is just full of chaotic action. Patrick Hughes directs this movie. He directed the first one as well. And it just seems like he doesn't have a clue how to direct action scenes, which is weird because he directed The Expendables 3. But for some reason, that was rated PG-13, so when he did The Hitman's Bodyguard, he was like, oh shit, it's rated R, I can add blood. So he added blood in post-production, and the blood in this, you can tell, was added in post-production. It's all CGI'd. It looks awful. Half the time, there's not even blood on the screen when people get shot. I really don't know how to describe them, but I'm going to describe them to the best of my ability, because it's weird for me, because it's not shaky cam. It's the camera just moving too fast in one direction, I feel like, because it's not shaking all over the place. It's just to the point where almost everything looks like it's out of focus. The background becomes a complete blur. The forefront with the fight actually happening looks like it's like sped up in post-production to make it look like a more convincing fight when it's probably not a convincing fight. And whoever edited this movie probably watched Quantum of Solace one too many times and decided, yeah, that's how I'm gonna edit the movie. This is not gonna be the only James Bond reference I make in this review. We'll also have hyper editing where the average shot length lasts less than 2 seconds. Very incoherent in its action scenes, and the action is not the only thing that's incoherent in this movie. Let's talk about the actual story, because I really didn't give a shit. It felt like such a low-stakes story for characters that are involved in crime and violence and bodyguarding, hitman, and just try and piece together the plot of this movie. Because screenwriters do this all the time. They know if they have a weak story, they know they have a weak plot. The first draft of the script, I would assume, probably isn't as convoluted as it's all made out to be in the end, but they know that it's a weak story, so they just add in all this nonsensical stuff that feels like side quests or side missions that are going to come back around to the main plot that don't make any sense and make the actual main story a lot more confusing and convoluted and incoherent than it already actually is. Look at Die Hard 5. Yeah, anything that the writer of Die Hard 5 writes, incoherent, convoluted, and quite frankly, a mess. I don't know what was up with Antonio Banderas in this movie. He's the main villain. What was he going for? Like, this is gonna be weird to complain about, but like, what was up with the hair? Like, he wasn't menacing at all. Like, Jesus. Was he like a Silva ripoff from Skyfall? That's what it felt like to me. Either that or like a discount John Bon Jovi from, I don't know, 2002. Look, it's cool to see Antonio Banderas in movies like this. His character, even though he has an integral role in the movie, because yeah, he's the villain, he just didn't add anything to the movie for me. He was just Antonio Banderas playing Antonio Banderas with blonde hair, like Javier Bardem in Skyfall. See, I told you it wasn't gonna be the only James Bond reference I made in this video. Look, Salma Hayek in this movie. I know she was in the first one, but in this one, my God, what does she play? She was annoying as shit. Every time she was on screen, I just kind of wanted her to shut the hell up. Like, my God, a lot of the jokes revolved around Salma Hayek's character, and a lot of the jokes revolved around Ryan Reynolds' character, and I gotta be quite frank with you. For an action comedy, the first one had jokes that landed. This one, I think I laughed like 3 times, and probably chuckled, gave a hearty maybe one other time. So 4 times total that I laughed in an action comedy in a sequel to a movie that probably shouldn't get a sequel, that has a somewhat unique premise in the fact that the bodyguard can't use weapons, he can't kill, he can't shoot anybody, you know, that the jokes just fall flat. I was at least relying on that, and I didn't get that. How did the jokes fall flat? You know why? Because they were trying too hard. Ryan Reynolds in this movie just reminded me of a less cool Deadpool, and that was not good. I will say this, the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson is still there, and that was something that I actually liked. That was a nice little carryover from The Hitman's Bodyguard to The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which, by the way, is a misleading title because it's not really about Darius's wife. It's about the two of them and Michael, Bryce, being their bodyguard. So shouldn't it just be The Hitman's Bodyguard 2? What are they going to come up with next? The Hitman's wife's cousin's nephew's former roommates, lovers, baby, dogs, cats, fish, cars, ugly son, Xbox's bodyguard. I literally just looked at my Xbox and said it. If this is all that they can think of for an action comedy, for a plot that is so weak but yet so convoluted and incoherent, with jokes that don't land, with action that is even incoherent, that you can't even follow, where it looks like everything in the background is blurred out and everything in the forefront is either sped up or is just quickly edited to get to the next shots, because you know that they film these fights from all different types of angles and they don't know which one to use, and the blood is digitized in post-production and it looks fake as hell. I mean, I really can't give this a recommendation. And why is Morgan Freeman in this movie? Oh yeah, that's right, he only does movies for paychecks now. This is definitely a Morgan Freeman paycheck movie. Why was Morgan Freeman in this movie other than a paycheck? I don't know, was he bored at home? Probably thought to himself, I haven't acted in a while. Not just the President of the United States and angel has fallen. I'm also God. I can do whatever the hell I want and make even the biggest shit look great. Hate to say it's a Morgan Freeman, but you really didn't make this movie that much better. And with that insane plot twist that they came up with for his character, I had to laugh at that. That was one of the parts I laughed at, and I think it was I don't think they wanted me to laugh at it. It was one of those things that was unintentionally funny. And before I let this review go, I just have to mention another negative I have with this movie. There are some dramatic moments in this movie, but the dramatic moments are quickly washed away because in those dramatic moments, they have to add in some annoying joke that Salma Hayek says, and it completely defeats the purpose of the dramatic emotion that the scene is trying to convey. I didn't really like The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. The Hitman's Bodyguard was a fine, mindlessly entertaining movie that I can throw on in the background or watch every once in a while if I want to turn my brain off. And that's what I was hoping for with this movie. But this movie didn't really justify its existence. I had read so many negative reviews about this movie. I was like, damn, they're trashing this movie really hard. There were some peers of mine that actually really enjoyed the movie, and I was hoping that I was going to enjoy it as much as they did. While I don't necessarily think it's as bad as critics say it is, I'm borderline there, guys. There's really only 1 or 2 redeeming qualities. It's mostly the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. I'm going to say you will enjoy The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard with popcorn that's stale, because this movie was stale. So, did you guys see Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard? If you did, drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.